Welcome to Blind City. I had to lose my sight to find my vision.
Are you blind? Are you blind? Open your eyes. They lying every time, so I don't trust men, only trust God. I had to lose my sight before I could see the light.
Welcome to Blind City. See, Blind City is a condition. Crime, racism, and poverty. We have to put the word neighbor back into hood. I had over 31 surgeries and lost my sight in fight to glaucoma. I tried killing myself 3 times in one day, and I was unsuccessful. And then I heard a voice tell me, use your weakness as a strength to inspire and create awareness through Blind City, the podcast. I will address the issues that are plaguing our society, like poor education, that are turning our broken neighborhoods into the breeding grounds for prisons, bootleg preachers, crooked politicians that have my people dancing like strippers in the community. Let's talk about it, or we can flip tables like Jesus. Welcome to Blind City. This is Blind City, the podcast. I'm your host, Langford Cunningham. We are the therapy for these streets. And like I said before, the most dangerous man in the world is a blind man with a handgun. Welcome to Blind City, the podcast.com. I had to lose my sight to find my vision. I have an amazing guest just rolled up to the city and talking about vision. She helps people see the vision every day. Nancy the Psychic, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Fantastic.
I had to call you in for the ghosts and the goblins.
Of course.
I guess that's your biggest time of the year for a psychic reading.
Yes, it absolutely is.
Explain to the people who you are and what you do.
So I'm Nancy the Psychic. I do psychic medium readings. So I tell people, I look at people at their future, where they're headed, what's helping them, what's getting in their way. And I also communicate with loved ones on the other side.
Oh, you talk to the deceased.
I do.
I didn't know that. How do you talk to the deceased?
Well, they talk to me. I connect with them. I can hear them, feel them, know things about them, and see them. And so they communicate with me.
Okay. So I will be getting a reading today.
Yes.
Okay. So how do people respond to the work you're doing in the community to help them?
People love it. People really enjoy it. It gives them good insight. A lot of people come to me because they're lost. They're not quite sure what direction to take. They need to know what their purpose is, what direction they're supposed to go in, and so they love it.
Now, when these people come to you, do you get all types of people, like races?
Yes.
Black,
yes.
white,
yes,
Asian,
yes,
et cetera, et cetera?
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a lot of people out here that are in pain or maybe missing a loved one due to death, or people just curious about their future, or people trying to find that loved one, to fall in love, correct?
Correct.
Is this a big business?
Yes. It is for me. When I first started almost 10 years ago, I had left a banking career. And okay, if I can do this work and support my habit, which my habit was doing readings, then I would be okay. And really it became the success of the business that I had to manage.
Well, Nancy, let me say this. We have a divorce rate that's like 75% in America.
I know.
How are people really finding love? Are they really finding love out here, Nancy?
Most people I connect with, one of the things I guide them to is learning to love theirself, healing theirself.
Wait a minute. Rewind that again. Say that one more time.
Most of when I talk to people, they need to learn to love themselves. They need to look at who they are, what they bring to the table. And a lot of times it requires some deep soul searching.
So you're saying and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people that may be searching for that Pacific other, some people haven't done the process of loving who they are first.
Correct.
That's amazing. That is deep.
Yes.
And when you tell them this, how do they respond?
Most of the people I connect with, what I'm telling them isn't a secret. You know, I tell the truth. Most people, if anything, they're surprised that I know this. Most people are grateful because I'll give them some guidance and some suggestions, whether it's books to read, places to go, things to do for themselves.
Well, let me say this, Nancy. You know, I'm African American,
Mm-hmm.
And I know my community. You know, if I go out, and before I lost my sight, I used to meet women, and the first thing they say is, "What's your horoscope?" And I'd be like, "What that got to do with anything? Why don't you ask me if I got a job first?" Horoscope ain't paying the bills. Might be paying the bills for Nancy, but they ain't paying the bills with a regular person. You mean you better see if he got a job first. But the first thing, a lot of women in my community, what's your horoscope? And when I look at the divorce rate in the African American community and all these kids that don't have fathers, I don't think the horoscopes is working, Nancy.
I agree.
Wow, Nancy, I agree. So what you think it is, Nancy? Why do they look at horoscopes differently than how you look at it? Do they think it's kind of like a miracle or something they grab it onto because they really don't know what else to grab onto?
Yes, and I think some people come to me with the idea they want to find a significant other. They want to find somebody to love them, or they want to find a loving relationship. And they think that I'm going to tell them you will meet John Smith on the corner of, Washington and 17th Street on March 14th. But it doesn't work that way. Yeah, I don't give you exact like that, but I will give you what you need to put yourself in a position to love that person and love yourself to be able to be in a loving relationship.
And I like that what you said. That's what I talk about with a lot of ladies out here. I said, baby, the Most High doesn't give you what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to give you what you need.
Yep.
And we get our wants mixed up with needs. You know, you meet some people, he got to be dark and handsome. He got to have muscles. He got to look like this. Well, it quite don't work that way.
Absolutely.
Because it might be a midget that love your ass more than him.
Absolutely.
You can get what you can get, but that don't mean he going to be faithful to your ass.
Yep.
And I think people don't understand that, Nancy. They like to predict love. They like to put love in something that they want and how it looks. They like to create it. But love really don't work like that, Nancy.
And they want easy. A lot of people want easy.
Elaborate.
People want me to tell them, this is where you're headed. This is who you're going to be in a relationship. This is when it's going to happen. They want easy. They don't want to put the work into it. And then once they get in that relationship, a relationship requires work. It's real easy to walk away. It's not so easy to stay and fight and figure it out. And I think more people walk away today thinking there's something better when they're just going to repeat their same pattern.
Same pattern. Relationships are turning into situationships, man.
Yes.
And the kids are the ones that's suffering.
Absolutely.
These children are out here suffering because of wrong choices by these parents.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing. We got Nancy the Psychic inside the city. We're going to come right back after this break, and she's going to read. She's going to give me a reading. I'm excited about this. BlindCityThePodcast.com.
Blind City, the podcast. It's headed up by a guy named Langford Cunningham. He had to lose his sight to find his vision.
Hey, y'all, this is Tashara Jones, mayor of the city of St. Louis, and I listen to Blind City, the podcast.
Watch us on ABC 30, 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. BlindCityThePodcast.com. BlindCityThePodcast.com. I had to lose my sight to find my vision. I have Nancy the Psychic inside the city, and she's helping people with their vision every day. Nancy the Psychic. And right now, she's going to talk to me and tell me what my vision is. Nancy, I'm turning everything over to you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Because you see me,
I absolutely do.
I don't see you.
I do see you, and more importantly, is I can feel you. I'm not a mind reader, but I connect with you at a very deep level, and we'll do a reading. I'll tell you a little bit how it works. I will not tell you that. I will connect in, and I will tell you things about yourself that you already know. The intriguing thing is, how do I know those things? Your personality, your characteristics, and I will look at where you're headed, what's helping you, and what's getting in your way. Langford, I won't tell you when you're going to die. I won't tell you when your family's going to die, but I will tell you the truth. Good, bad, or indifferent. If I see something that's not the easiest to tell you, I'm going to tell you anyway, but I always look for the good on the other side. Won't leave you with gloom and doom and sadness.
Okay.
I do use tarot cards. I don't need them, but they're fun.
Okay.
They're pretty. They tell a great story.
Drum roll, please. Holy dust. Drum roll, please.
So, I bridge one world to the other, and I surrender spirit completely. I'll start by what I know. I know you're a man that likes order. You like things very black and white, very organized, very together. You're not a man that wants to be rich. You don't want to be a millionaire. You just want to be financially secure. You'd like to know where your money's coming and where it's going. That brings you fulfillment in this lifetime. You are a person, you can be very analytical because you like the boxes, you like the graphs. It meant 1 + 1 = 2, and that makes sense to you, and you like that. You do lack patience at times because you don't understand how people achieve things when they don't have goals or when they're not living their best life. How are they achieving things? I also know that you're a problem solver. You are a person when it comes to your work ethic. You solve the problem. You're also a workhorse. You'll work sun up till sundown with a checklist. You won't check that list and sign your name without it being accurate. And anyone that knows you knows that's true. And when it comes to being around friends and family, you have something to say, you're going to say it. You do not hold back. You speak your mind. If they don't want to hear it, they shouldn't be saying it in front of you. When it comes to intimacy, an intimate partner starts asking you intimate questions about your life, you're pretty open. You'll answer their questions as long as you have to ask yours as well, because you command intimacy or openness in an intimate relationship. You're a pretty good multitasker. You can do several things at one time and do it very well. You're more comfortable in a small, quaint group of people versus large crowds. And you lack patience for ignorance. It gets on your nerves. Sometimes it's almost like stupid. You can't seem to fix it. Am I close on any of that, Langford?
Bullseye.
Awesome. So give me a minute here, and I will do
bullseye. You right on point.
Fantastic.
Right on point.
Fantastic. That's what I like to hear. It's the way it's supposed to work. So where are you vulnerable? Boy, you have a lot of passion. You're a passionate man, and it's great. It's great, but it can also work against you in the sense it's extreme. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you're in a relationship with someone that's passionate, it's fantastic. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, you better duck and run, because that passion is what guides you. And I do feel like as you're moving forward, I see you very much, you're good at business. You make good decisions. You're quick. You can solve problems and express it to other people quite well. I also see that you go to work, you pay your bills. Nobody needs to tell you to do that. And you are a great friend. If I need you, you're there for me. But your heart has been broken, and so you hide that. You protect it. You're not one that wants to be hurt. I do see your strength. You stand up for yourself. You stand up for other people, but you stand up for yourself as well. You will take a butt kicking, but you ain't backing down, because you know victory is in standing for the fight, and that's for you and other people as well. I see you moving in the next cycle, and as you're moving into it, you're taking your lessons with you. You're taking your lessons with you so you do not have to repeat them. And I see in the next few months you being very busy. You're going to be juggling a lot of things. But you shine through. I see you rising above others in your field. It's as if you didn't get here through favoritism. You've gotten where you're at through blood, sweat, and tears, and people acknowledge that. They look at you and they respect you for what you've done to get where you're at. And I do know that you're very intuitive. You feel things about people. They don't need to open their mouth. They walk up to you and you know what they're made of. Is that correct?
Correct.
I do know that you've carried some heaviness. There are times you get some depression, some heaviness on your shoulders, and it really weighs you down. But out of it comes some real soul searching. You're a man, as I look at this and moving forward, it's almost like you can't learn enough. It's prayer, meditation, solace. It's looking within yourself for the answers, because you will know they're not on a neon sign out in front of anybody. And I see you taking career, and I see you taking responsibility. You carry things almost like a burden. You want to be successful, you'll do it yourself because you want it done right. You carry it as a burden because if you want to be successful, you put everything into it that you need. But I do see celebration coming. I feel like you've made some plans, you've nurtured it, you've grown it, and there's a reason to celebrate. Eat, drink, be merry, and party. So there's a gathering and a coming together. As you move forward, I see you very much following your heart. And I see you moving forward with this fiery personality. And you're in a position where it's like you can endure. You persevere, you teach, you inspire, you share with other people, and you laid a good foundation. So you make good decisions, and that carries you forward. You have any questions so far?
Yes, I do. Yes, okay. I do. Nancy, let's say this.
Mm-hmm.
What does my love life look like, though? What about the bumping and grinding? What does it look like?
What does your love like?
Yes, Nancy, yes. All that is great. But do you see me settling down, or do you just see me just enjoying life's festivities?
Well, let's take a look. The age-old question, what about my love life?
Yeah, what about it? Will I remain a player from the Himalayas, or will I really find someone who's in tune in what I'm doing out here in these streets saving lives?
Let's take a look. I could certainly give you some guidance and see what's going to come. You're a very passionate person, You're a very passionate person.
Is there any woman out there that would date a blind man? Because, being disabled, people carry that vulnerable attitude towards you, like, I can't take care of him the rest of my life. Maybe you ain't got to take care of me. I probably can take care of you.
All right.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. Open it and read the book.
So I do see you. And again, the focus of who you are comes up as passion. You're passionate. But when you're in a relationship, there is a whole lot of passion. You get drawn to somebody, you can't seem to resist it. And your relationships, they're fiery, they're good, they're great. But when they're bad, they're bad. It's like real extreme.
Like the Titanic when it sank.
And in the past, that's kind of the relationship you're having. Quite honestly, it's who you are. You want a fiery, you want a passionate relationship. I feel like as far as relationships go right now, I see you're kind of lining things up. You're setting goals. You're trying to achieve success. I will tell you, I feel like it's twofold. I feel like your career is going places. What you're doing, you've got a new beginning or an opportunity that's gonna feel like a real blessing. And I feel like as I look at this, love is around for you, but it's not on the front burner. You've had your heart broken in the past. You're not playing games anymore. And as you move forward, I do see, you coming into a very creative, loving time. And I feel like I see you more so playing the field and figuring it out. But saying that, I see eat, drink, be merry, and party around. So celebration. You're not going to sit at home quietly and wait for somebody to appear. I see you having a good time and socializing and enjoying yourself. I feel like you're loving space. You're creating that. So your home is not just a house with walls and windows. It's a home. It feels good. And I see you with the ability to have a very loving relationship, but I see you kind of playing the field because I feel like the career is taking off. And I'll say this, your heart's not missing anything. It's not like your heart's not missing not having a relationship. You've got so many other things that are going on for you.
Bullseye. Bullseye, Nancy. Bullseye. You shot the bow and arrow right through the apple. Nancy, the psychic. Nancy, if people want to get in touch with you or find you on social media, how can they reach you?
They can find me through nancythepsychic.com. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and I've got my website, nancythepsychic.com.
And we'll be right back after these messages with Nancy the Psychic, ABC, KDNL, TV, Blind City, the podcast. What I'm finding out, people are really struggling with faith and fear. And I think fear is winning. To believe in God, you can't have fear. Fear is not a God trait.
It's not. For me to see a generation of 10 to 15-year-olds that all they can talk about is suicide, then there's something missing.
They fired. They all need to go. Pink slip for every last one of them, because these kids killing each other.
If you did something up the street that was wrong, Mr. Johnson saw you, Mr. Johnson whooped your butt, sent you home, and when you got home, you got another butt whooping.
Check out Blind City, the podcast on ABC 30. You can catch us 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. BlindCityThePodcast.com. BlindCityThePodcast.com. I'm with her, Nancy the Psychic. She has rolled up to the city and she just gave me a tarot card reading. And bullseye. Shot the bow and arrow right through the apple. Nancy, let's talk about it though. It's time to flip tables like Jesus.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about it. You know, some pastors from the church, they say in the Bible and the Holy Quran, people that are Muslim, they say people that read tarot cards or claim to be psychic, they call it sorcery. How would you respond to that?
I would say that for me, it's a gift. It's a gift. And where it comes from, I have to say that it's got to come out from God, universe, spirit, whatever you refer to it as, because doing this work, it's got to come from God. Where else would it come from? God, spirit, universe, whatever higher thing that you believe out there that has been brought into my life. And so sorcery, trouble, all that kind of stuff, I don't agree with it.
Well, do you think some people might get the misconception that you're playing God instead of going to God to ask the questions?
I certainly would hope not, because I'm not. So I would hope that people don't feel that I'm playing God, or because I don't tell you what to do. I tell you what I see. So it's kind of a cheat sheet to your future. Gives you an idea of what's ahead, so what you can be prepared for.
Well, do you say? But some people, let's talk about it, Nancy. But some people say, from the religious world, that's why you get on your knees and pray to God.
Mm-hmm.
And they say when you go to somebody else outside of God, it's sorcery. Like, why do I have to look to the stars and the moon when I can go right to God? And then some people that are in your business will say, well, God gave us the stars and moon.
Mm-hmm.
How would you respond?
I respond the same way. I don't agree with it. I feel like I've been put on this path. The way I got here and the work I do, it came from a spiritual awakening.
You say God gave you your blessings to do this. Would you say that?
Yes, absolutely.
And how long have you been doing this?
I stepped out doing this for a career almost 10 years ago. In July, it was 9 years.
9 years. And do you feel God told you to do this? Or did you decide on your own?
I don't know if it was God. I just know that it came to me out of nowhere. I'd been to a psychic one time in my whole life, and suddenly I'm on my couch and I hear tarot cards. I'm like, what? What's tarot? And it just wouldn't go away. And so I got tarot cards. And when I opened them up, I didn't need to be taught how to read them. I knew what they said. And I've been reading them ever since. And so this came from something outside of myself.
And you never had any when you was a little girl, nothing came in your dreams. You never had a experience of dying and coming back, or talking with dead people when you were young?
Not when I was young. What I did learn, I realize now looking back, I learned to read a room. I learned when I walked into a room how to be prepared, to prepare myself for what was happening in that space. I didn't realize how much that was preparing me for what I do now, which is reading a room, reading people, reading the energy.
Reading the energy. Let me ask you this, Nancy. Do you believe, is there a heaven or is there a hell?
I believe we call it heaven, and communicating with spirit on the other side, they don't call it heaven. It's the afterlife, or it's another lifetime. It's like they're in a fishbowl and we're in a fishbowl and we're right next to each other. It's like another dimension.
So when you talk to dead people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like saying dead, but deceased people. Where are they at, Nancy? Are they just being contained?
No, they are, as I say, the afterlife, another lifetime. As they communicate with me, really, they are with their loved ones. Part of their heaven is to be around their loved ones still. So when I connect in with someone from the other side, it's because they came with the person I'm going to connect with. They're always around us. They're always around. I just have a gift of knowing when they're there.
So if a widow lost her husband
Mm-hmm.
and she comes to you and says she wants to know, have you spoken with her husband or can you find her husband?
Yes.
And they actually speak back to you, the deceased?
Yes.
Does this energy flows through your body and it comes back out of you to her, to the widow? How does the energy what's the transformation from the deceased to life?
When I can hear their voice. I can usually see them. I feel things, so I usually will feel how they passed, and I know things about them.
Wow. You have an amazing job. You have a very difficult job as well.
Yes.
I'm not here to say what's wrong or right. I will say I know religion and politics separates the world.
Absolutely.
I know Christians have died, Muslims have died, Buddhists have died.
Yes.
And ain't nobody came back with a receipt. No
Right.
refund. You can get a refund at Walmart, but you can't get a refund from life.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But we will find out one day. No matter what you believe, that's a ride we all gonna take.
Absolutely.
And you're not able to come back and let everybody else know. Nancy the Psychic, thank you for rolling up to the city on this Halloween special, Goons and Goblins. And I ain't talking about the goons in the streets that's murdering these kids out here in the inner city. Let's get that straight. Nancy, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you for coming by the city. And please pray for our city. People that's sitting here talking about what you're doing is wrong need to be out here chasing these criminals in the streets that's killing our kids. And doing Jesus work in the streets for real. Up here worrying about a cycle if it's sorcery or witchery. And you can't even stop these kids dying out here. Got some nerve, Nancy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for coming by the city. BlindCityThePodcast.com. Check out Blind City the Podcast on ABC 30. You can catch us 2:30 a.m. Monday morning. BlindCityThePodcast.com.